Thanks for hopping on and joining me today. It would be great if we could, start with, the name of your company and, your role there and how your ownership came to be and, how you created the business and, just a little bit of the background of what you guys do.
Of course. I'm the owner of BG Custodial. We're here in Columbus, Ohio, primarily servicing Central Ohio, but we are able to service multiple parts of the state when needed. I started BG in 18. My background was I'm from Central Ohio, went to school at Kent State University, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in fashion merchandising, actually. Got into that field. I worked in corporate retail for about 8 years, but really kind of started to have the entrepreneurial bug while I was there. And as I started to think about it and talk about it with other people, multiple people had mentioned to me cleaning was something that was very low barrier to entry, something anyone could do. And as I kind of got that in my mind's eye, I started talking about that as well and kind of figured out how to get a couple small contracts here in town that I just cleaned myself in the beginning that were just 30 minutes, 3 times a week kind of accounts. I started to do that and grew that to a couple more buildings. Then I started to learn and see some of the trade associations in town and how this worked at scale with large properties and just really saw the potential. Just started from there, grew it, started to hire some senior people over the years and grew it to where we're at now.
So you're focused, like you say, mostly around the Cleveland area or Columbus area?
Columbus.
Columbus. And is that a path that you want to take to expand outside of Columbus? Is that, one of your growth strategies? What are you looking to do as far as growth goes?
We are certainly open to that. I mean, usually opportunities that we've had outside of Columbus have been through partnerships or relationships we have in Columbus. We've gone out east, south, down to the Athens area before, but typically it's usually out of a relationship we have in Columbus. So a lot of our growth is just from organic referrals. And now that I have some more seasoned people on my team in the management, they have relationships they're bringing into the equation. So really, it's not something we're going after aggressively to be in, let's say, Cincinnati or Cleveland, but certainly something we would be open to if the opportunity came to us.
Interesting. It's all commercial, correct?
Yes.
So you're doing all commercial contracting. What are the trends that you're seeing around kind of why people are, using your services versus others? Is there different changes in the competitive landscape? What maybe describe a little bit about what's going on in the industry for folks to hear?
Sure, of course. I think it can be broken down, Jeff, from industry wide trends, but also local. So I think in the industry, robotics and AI are certainly a huge push that I'm seeing all over LinkedIn and marketing. I have a funny story. I was on a road trip last year in the Dallas, Texas area, and I was in a Quick Trip convenience store grabbing I forget, a drink out of the cooler, and I heard this chirping voice behind me. Turned around, it was an autonomous robot cleaning the floor on a route through the entire store. It was kind of funny and delightful to see
Did that
because
freak you out?
a little bit, I mean, to be quite honest, but when you looked at the robot, it had a digital, screen with a little bit of a face, so it had this kind of cute public-facing screen that I guess you could say humanized it a little bit, but once I saw that, I looked at the entire store, and the floor was pristine, beautiful especially for a convenience store slash gas station. Usually we all know how those look. And it was fantastic. I mean, was it perfect? No, but probably 95% of the floor was beautifully cleaned. And it was a high traffic place. So I tell that story. I've told that to my team because it really shows the power of robotics in our industry, because eventually that will be something I think we're seeing more and more in commercial offices. Retail application, I think, is probably the first step because those workers are certainly not professional cleaners. I think we all know how gas station bathrooms typically look. So it was really interesting to see and think about how that could help pick up a lot of the in-house cleaning tasks that employees kind of have tacked onto their scopes of work for people that are food workers, retail workers, not necessarily janitorial techs. I just thought about it in our office buildings, for example, that are very consistent cleans, daily, same tasks. A lot of that work is in flooring. So I know there's autonomous vacuum companies out there, robotics that do dry and wet mopping. So that was something I think was really, first of all, cool to see in somewhere that's so public that anyone can walk into and see this. But also, I think it's something that we're going to be seeing in the next 5 to 10 years a lot, maybe even sooner, in all sorts of janitorial accounts.
So it'll reduce the amount of labor that's needed.
Yes, but I think I really believe what they say, that it'll go hand in hand with human labor, because we win contracts a lot of times based on details. And details are typically the things at the end of the shift for a cleaner that they may be too tired to do, or they may not have time in their given shift to do everything every day. Trash, restrooms, and floors are probably the three biggest labor drivers for a cleaner. I think taking one of those out of the equation with robotics, the floors, would really help give people time for the fourth one, which is surfaces, dusting, countertops, all around desks, for example. It would need that extra, as I said earlier. It was about 95% of that quick trip looked beautiful, the floors, but like underneath the counters or under the
They're
coolers, that little lip
a
that
little hard
covers
to
the
reach
floor.
spaces.
Yes, the robots can't get that yet, but so it'll still need some human intervention and human oversight. But I really see that as the first place that it'll get into our world, um, on
Yeah,
a
that
daily basis.
machine learning and the autonomous roboting has been a topic, that a lot of industries are seeing, painting, roofing. It's interesting to hear that, the cleaning side too. I've always, what are what's the sweepers?
Roomba.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I've seen those and I've never used one, but I've run into one, literally stepped on one. Those it's pretty crazy. So I could totally see how at a larger scale that it could work, right? If you have open spaces. Yeah.
Definitely, they're already in residences. Cats and dogs are riding on them. They're already out there in the houses, so
Right. Yeah. That's funny. Well, that's super interesting. I think that the evolution is absolutely underway, and whether it's 12 months or 2 years or 5 years, like you say, there is some of this technology coming, and people have got to prepare for it.
absolutely, and it kinda dovetails into another trend, issue we're seeing, which is, like, labor shortage. So, it really helps to mitigate the amount of human cleaners you need, as well as the amount of time you need for your humans to work in the accounts. So, it really works together well.
Oh, I know we talked a little bit about this previously, which was why do people want to come and work for you? You guys are using more W-2 than 1099 employees today, right? So maybe just talk a bit about those labor issues that you're seeing today.
Sure, I think something I've always felt and seen, both from my view and echoed back to me from our employees, is that a lot of individuals in this demographic that work these types of jobs really want to just feel seen, cared about, but also for a lot of them, they want to see some ladder of progression available to them. And I think what I've seen in some competitors, and also what some of our team have told me from other companies they've worked in, is that it's very set and forget the people. You put them in the buildings, hope it all goes well, check in once a month. That really is not sustainable at all for accounts. I mean, the janitorial industry is extremely competitive, especially in a place like Columbus, but you need to really have connection with your people, connection with your managers, and the account management. And without the account management, you can't truly guide your team correctly, because if you're not talking to the tenant, or let's say the end user of the building, consistently, you can't communicate their needs to the employees. Typically, what will happen is there's a problem that comes up, and the client will typically throw the cleaner under the bus, but even the internal management of the cleaning company will throw the cleaner under the bus. So we try to really avoid that by having great account management and contact with the employees of our buildings, so that we can communicate effectively with our employees too, and keep them in jobs, keep everybody happy.
That's the key, right? Yeah, and maybe what does your turnover look like? How often are you hiring? How do people approach you for applications? Where do you go for all that?
Sure. I mean, we have a mix of things. We of course use Indeed. We use warm referrals from people in our network already. That actually is still a lot of our process, um, because people that come to work for us vouch for us to their networks. So they bring in people that have already heard positive things about our team and the way we do business. That has really helped us thus far. We use things like, of course, Facebook, like I mentioned, Indeed, all of those things as well. Typically, the best, I think I can safely say this, the best employees we find are from existing employees. But of course, it depends on the level. Are we talking about cleaners or managers, et cetera?
Sure.
I'm talking about cleaners primarily, but the warm networking is still really, really powerful for us.
Do you find you guys have family members as well that work alongside each
Absolutely.
other? Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a couple families that have worked with us for years that just connect and know us and trust us with their partners and their kids, and it all works very organically.
Maybe talk a little bit about the current state of your business. What's working well? What are some of the challenges in the business that you guys are seeing, and how are they impacting your plans to further grow the business?
Of course, right. One of our biggest challenges is just sustaining growth without outkicking our coverage. Years ago, I thought the idea was you just get a building and you staff it, and then you hire managers. As I've seen over the past couple of years, obviously, and I've learned as an owner, you have to really give runway for people to develop, train, understand what they are doing, and fully understand the company's expectations before we get the properties they need to manage, of course. So, growing at a sustainable rate, which lines up with our financial objectives, is a constant thing. I'm daily watching, as far as our lead generation and what's happening on the sales end. How does that balance with operations? That's been a huge push in the last year for me and our team, is just to always have our eyes on that, because we don't need to be bringing in new business if a lot of it's falling off the back end. That's not how you grow a company. You're just surviving, treading water in that scenario. So that's a really, from a macro perspective, what me and my team and I, excuse me, have our eyes on, which is just making sure our operations are strong and can sustain any business we bring in, because it does no good for our name to get accounts and continue to grow. We're losing things at a high rate on the backside. That's
And
one.
grow profitably, right? And grow
Of course.
smartly and profitably, so that you're maintaining your margins as you grow, right?
100%, of course. Being discerning with what clients we are working with. Not all money is good money, as we all know. And I think it's important that you fully vet clients you're bringing on or projects you're bringing on to understand. We're primarily a janitorial services company, but we do project work. So commercial cleaning, post construction cleaning on job sites. We do floor work as well. So those are the ones that really, how much of our management is it going to take? How much mobilization will this require to do this clean that's outside of our normal daily operations and our janitorial accounts? Those are things we always keep in mind when we're pricing, as well as when we're getting leads in the door. Is this something we want to do? Is this something our team will want to do? Keeping our eyes on all those factors is super important, but just having a discerning eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's easier said than done, right? If you had one thing that you would want to change, in the business today, what would it be?
I would love for all end users to understand the benefits of working with a contracted company versus cleaning in house. We've seen a lot of clients come to us, quite a few in the last few years, that have switched from in house to working with a contracted service like us. Once they do make the switch, they really see that the value is exponentially more than them hiring on in house. They get an entire management team when they work with BG Custodial, seasoned people that have been doing this for years, from the top to the bottom. So not only when they're paying their bill for the cleaning services are they getting the cleaning, but they're getting the account management. We're managing the supplies of the consumables for their properties, as well as obviously the turnover, which is the hugest
Absolutely.
issue. yes, that most end users do not want to deal with and do not have time for. And then, of course, the quality. We're doing inspections consistently and just maintaining their building for them. I know we had a large medical account that came to us, and it's been fantastic. I don't think they even understood what it would be like to work with us. And that's what I wish the entire world could see.
That's a good thought, and getting your message out and the education of it is part of the whole thing, right? If they
Yes.
don't know and haven't tried, whether it's referrals or other abilities to view videos, maybe just like this, where they're able to understand a little bit deeper of what the nuances are between the in-house and outsourcing of it.
Yes, absolutely.
God, I had another good question. I wanted to ask you, do you guys use any KPIs, metrics, dashboards? How do you guys control, your business and run your operations?
Definitely. We use a janitorial software that I always say is like the glue to the company. So it's an app that all of our cleaners and managers are on. We here in the office use the back office of the app online to track clock ins and clock outs, inspections lists. My favorite feature is the mood reporting, where it asks the cleaner at the end of their shift, are they happy,
Yeah,
neutral, or
great.
sad? And I think it sounds so silly and rudimentary, but it's something that gives you a little bit of insight to the on the ground cleaners that we may not see every day necessarily, but it just gives them a chance to give us some feedback here to the senior team.
I love that. I think that's great.
I
Instant
agree.
feedback, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can pull the reporting on the moods every week. It helps you to really, as I said earlier, help the employees be seen. We can reach out to them if they're consistently sad or upset. I mean, that's something we definitely take action on. It's that software is really our company runs out of it. I mean, a janitorial company is so remote, it's out in the field primarily. So it's important to keep tabs on everybody through something like that. And I'm so shocked when I hear large companies aren't using things like that because I can't imagine how you would keep everything in order and all the people organized without some foundational common denominator that keeps everybody connected as opposed to just, text groups in iMessage or WhatsApp. I know, of course, a lot of people use WhatsApp. It's just a great place to archive information, keep everything centralized. And we use a couple platforms for that, for the operations, also for sales. It's really what helps us automate and keep things organized as best we can.
If you had kind of a crystal ball of, the next 12 months, 24 months, what does your business look like? Is it the same? Is it different? What is your thought process to putting a plan in place to achieve those goals?
Of course, yes. In the next 12 to 24 months, we see tremendous growth. We have a lot of exciting things happening. To me, the objectives are to keep our portfolio diversity healthy. We don't want to be over leveraged with any one client, any one segment. We want to have a nice mix of property types, end users, and situations just to keep everything balanced. I learned that lesson the hard way in the past where we had a great concentration in one client and it was just extremely tenuous. If something went wrong there, it would not be good for the entire business. So learning from that situation really helped me as far as providing a strategic objective for my senior team on what we should be looking for and what we shouldn't. So that to me is the biggest part of the next 24 months is continuing to maintain that and hopefully having no client that's anywhere above 15 to 20% tops of our revenue mix. Right now, we have achieved that in the last 12 months, which I'm very proud to say. So, keeping that balanced to me will mean success for everybody as far as the security and longevity of the company.
Yeah, no, that's great. Is it additional headcounts? What else comes into play in order to kind of get there?
Additional headcount for sure. Definitely making sure operations, as I said earlier, is strong, built out with people with different skill sets that complement one another, and ensuring we're running here in the office with complete efficiency as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Um, one of our core values is communicating effectively. I think from the leadership team all the way down to the properties, that is just, as it is in most businesses, essential to continuing to be successful and efficient.
How do you guys do lead gen? What is your process? Is it all sales driven for like salespeople, personnel on staff? Do you use the marketing? Where do you guys focus on that?
We do use a lead gen service, but we also have a lot my team now has a lot of years of experience in this market. So we have quite a large network of relationships that we work through organically. We went through a huge reorganization in the last 12 months as far as the senior team goes. And bringing on the new team has helped really open doors into new potential clients, new opportunities and relationships. But we did get into a lead generation opportunity this year that we are slowly working up that capability um, while we kind of restructure and get reset for the next year. So yeah, we do kind of balance it through both arms.
And you guys use LinkedIn? Do you use anything else as far as any different apps that you guys are out there pushing your message, trying to reach customers?
We use LinkedIn, of course, more of a just content creation platform, hoping we get great engagement on there. We're still at a point where we're working a lot of the organic referral angle. As we grow, that's definitely going to change, and we'll need to streamline it. At the moment, that's really been successful for us.
That's great. It's for me, as I see and talk to a bunch of owners, is there are things that prohibit growth, right? And things that accelerate growth. And then there are tasks that owners are doing that they wish they didn't have to do. So maybe describe your day a little bit and, what does your day look like? What do you do on a routine basis? Is it different every day? Is it pretty consistent?
In the last 12 months, it's gotten much more consistent. I can say a lot of my daily work is a lot of the financials, primarily keeping an eye on all of those things, ensuring AP and AR is working as it should, and mostly the AR is my primary concern, of course. Establishing banking relationships has become a huge part of what my mind is focused on. My senior team is so fantastic. They have really taken a lot of the operational work off my plate, really allowing me time and space to think and project forward strategic vision of where we're headed. It's really has become a nice situation that I always imagined I would be in, which is that the team is really functioning on all cylinders, and it gives me the space to think and plan as needed. So, of course, I'm here in the office as often as I can be and want to be because I really enjoy being around the team and feeling that energy and creating that culture. A lot of the financial part, and then, of course, ensuring the right seats are filled with the right people.
That's smart. Never as easy as it sounds, right? Making those positions filled with the right people. But if I know we're kind of coming to the end here, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to, speak to if you have, for your customers or for future employees, if there's any messaging you want there. I know I'm just throwing this at you randomly, but like to give you an opportunity to kind of just throw things out that you might want on a clip.
Definitely. I would say we're an up and coming business that can compete on a level that most homegrown businesses cannot. And our leadership now is composed of people that have worked in large scale environments for similar service providers. We are growing at a rate that's really helping us to sustain that and keep talent like that in house and attract talent like that. We're really excited to see where the next 12 to 24 months take us because we have an incredible team of people that are passionate about what we're doing and really care to their core about what they're doing in their positions. Something I see in a lot of similar firms is that a lack of passion, a lack of care for what's going on. We definitely have that here at BG Custodial. We really care that our clients are getting the value that they're paying for. It's from the top down. We have many, many cleaners that have this same attitude, and we really try to look for people that have that same spirit and energy about them, and they care what they're doing. They see the value it's bringing to the properties we service, and there's just an incredible passion here for what we're doing.
That's wonderful. Well, look, this has been super fun. I enjoyed our conversation.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thanks for having me. It was wonderful.
Take care. Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.